you ever wondered if you could use a gravel bike as a road bike? We have a similarly spec'd gravel and road bike, and in today's video, we're going to find out. The road bike is a Scott Addict RC, SRAM Red E-Tap, carbon mid-depth Parcours wheels with 30mm Hutchinson slick tyres. And the gravel bike is a Scott Addict Gravel tuned SRAM Rival E-Tap and 2 sets of mid-depth Parcours wheels, one with slick road tyres and one with knobbly gravel tyres. Why 2 sets of wheels? Well, one of the biggest things that sets road bikes and gravel bikes apart is tyre clearance. The amount of space you have in between where the tyre goes in and your frame. If you go too big, you start rubbing your frame and then you're in trouble. We have 2 sets of wheels here, just for the sake of being able to switch them quickly, so we can test one against the other, back to back. When you're riding on the road, a road tyre will be faster for 2 main reasons. Firstly, it has lower rolling resistance because it is slick. Secondly, aerodynamics. It's a nice flush profile. Not only is it narrower, so it cuts through the wind, but it's also flush to the wheel itself, so that's a nice smooth transition. A gravel tyre, like this one, creates a light bulb kind of shape. So it bulges over the top of the wheel. It's also wider, so it's a bigger object moving through the air, so you have to put in more effort to go the same speed. In addition to that, you also have knobbles on a gravel tyre, the little bumps that give you grip. These will compress and regain their shape, which adds to rolling resistance, which is why they are slower. That's why the first big change I would suggest you do if you want to use a gravel bike on the road is changing to a set of road tyres. It will make a massive difference.
Francis, why have you got a road bike? I thought this was meant to be a gravel ride.
We're making a video called Can You Use a Gravel Bike as a Road Bike? And we're going to play a game. And the game is big difference or not much really. Okay. Wait, no, we'll work on that. Big difference or not much difference.
Good title, I like it. I'm thankful that it means that it's not, can I keep up with you on a gravel bike and you on a road bike, because that wouldn't go very well.
Well, that is the first test.
Oh.
We're going to go on a road ride now and we're going to test the key differences between a gravel bike and a road bike. We're going to split them into sections. First section is tyres. You got big knobblies on, I got slicks. Let's see if you can keep up with me.
It's downhill from here. I don't get the advantage of the traction, do I? Well, I guess I do.
Well, you definitely don't now because they're slick, because you did a massive skid when you rode in.
Is there a good skid mark?
Yes.
Oh, look at that, that's gangster. It rides very fast, but very clearly the road bike's faster.
Yeah.
Because like, there was a bit I was pedaling, or even if I tucked in, I was having to put a bit of beans in, and you were literally just sitting up, hand on the top, filming, like fully in the wind, and you were still just gliding away from it a bit. So it is definitely faster with road tyres.
Big difference or not that much difference?
It is a big difference, but it is fine with gravel tyres on the road.
You were surprisingly fast. Faster than I thought. You
could be doing less effort for the speed that you're going just by changing the tyres.
Fortunately for you, Jimmy, I hid some road wheels in a bush.
Oh, it's like, is it like one of those treasure hunts where I now have to, like, you put a picture up on Instagram and I've got to try and find them?
No, they're right here.
Oh, okay. Bullshit. One by with a road cassette in the northeast does not get the Jimmy Nichols approval. We rode up this like last week or something or other. I think I was on like a Halfords bike or maybe even the Walmart bike, and I like glided up there in comparison. So the road wheel set that Francis hid in a bush has a bog standard road cassette on it. So the advantage of that is the spaces are much closer together, so you can probably find a better gear for the cadence you want to go. But with a gravel chainring on the front, it's just too hard for road. The flip side to that is if we had a pure gravel cassette on the back, which for this setup would probably be a 1050.
That's what you were just riding on the other wheels, yeah.
So the other wheels was a 1050. The spacing for road, in my opinion, is too wide. Yes, it's fine, but it's quite wide and you probably will struggle to find the cadence you want. However, you are always going to have a nice, easy gear to get you up any climb with any amount of weight, any amount of luggage, and you're not going to get to a climb and be in this mess that I'm in. I think there's probably something in the middle. Something that's not a full gravel cassette, but not a full road cassette. Gives you that extra couple of gears for the hilly stuff, but isn't spaced out so far that you're struggling to find the right gear for the cadence you want to go. If you do have a second set of wheels, or even you're just changing your cassette for when you want to flip between road and gravel, a SRAM Explore cassette is probably somewhere in the middle. So you'd have a mountain bike cassette for gravel, an Explore cassette for road, and not a road cassette for road.
Other brands are available, like a GRX one. You ready to go? I had a great time. Big difference or not much difference?
To where? What?
Aerodynamics of the frame. Now there is a difference, but it's not noticeable. So, gravel frame. This has clearance for tyres, as we mentioned earlier, at the back here and in the front fork there. This should be slower cutting through the air than a purpose-built aero road frame, which this bike that we brought along with us as an example of a road bike is. You can go even more aero than that with like really flat profile tubes, and on paper, if you were to measure it in a wind tunnel, it would be quicker. Can you notice any of these things? No. To really notice aerodynamic gains, I think you have to be in skin suit, aero helmet, aero socks, shoe covers, aero wheels, aero everything, and then you start to notice a big difference. They're quite aero. If you were to put this into numbers, generally speaking, going from a non-aero road frame, or a frame similar to this gravel frame, to an aero road frame, that will save you about 3 to 7 watts at 40k an hour. That's not very many watts. And it will make a difference, don't get me wrong, if you were racing or doing a TT, but just riding around the lanes like we are today, you're not going to notice it. So if you're massively performance focused, yes, you want to consider it because it is faster. Is it noticeable, and is it going to ruin your day if you're riding this instead of that? No.
Big difference or not much difference?
Not much difference.
Gravel frames are typically slacker, more upright position and more compact. Riding the two bikes, you definitely notice the difference. The road bike, it rides faster, but then you're in a much longer position. Does it actually make a difference if you're performance focused a bit? It's arguably more enjoyable to ride. It feels faster and a bit twitchier, which is kind of what you want from a road bike.
As we've discussed in many bike fit videos before, the majority of people aren't able to comfortably fit a really aggressive road frame. So in actual fact, gravel frames like this, which are shorter and higher, suit more people as well. So really, if you're looking to have one bike that does everything, this is the one.
Which one?
Gravel. Gravel.
This one.
Gravel. This one! We've ridden a long way away now, Jimmy. Should we ride back? There are differences between road cycling shoes and mountain bike or gravel specific cycling shoes, namely the cleats on the bottom. So a road shoe has a big plastic cleat, usually 3 bolt holes, and it provides a nice stable platform for you to ride, along with usually a stiff carbon sole. A gravel shoe has a much smaller cleat and usually has some tread so you can run around in them more easily too. Is there a massive difference in terms of performance? Not huge, but generally a road shoe will be lighter and slightly stiffer. On the mountain bike shoe, because the cleat is smaller, you might notice if you don't have the stiffest sole in the world that the shoe will flex around the actual cleat, and that can cause problems in terms of foot pain. But generally speaking, the difference will be a little bit of weight. I would say it doesn't make too much difference at all. If you're gonna have one bike that does everything, there's nothing wrong with using SPDs or mountain bike cleats on the road. Big difference or not much difference?
Not much difference. But this is confusing. Can you use a gravel bike set up as a road bike for commuting?
Yeah.
What about a chilled ride with your mates?
100%.
What about a smashy ride with your mates?
Definitely.
What about a race?
An amateur race, yes. A pro race where it's like marginal gains start coming into it, no.
Well, it depends how fit you are, doesn't it?
And it depends what your goals are in the race. Like if it stage of the Tour de France and a guy who's like domestique might be coming 40th and it's a chill day, you ride a gravel bike.
They get away with it.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, obviously with road tyres and stuff.
Yeah. The difference is we're talking with really performance focused road bikes, are very small, that, you know, that's fantastic. One bike, two wheels, fine. Sounds like two bikes, one wheelchair.
All bikes have two wheels.
Clearly the two adjustments that you do want to make are gearing and tire choice. So having a second set of wheels is a fantastic idea if you don't want to be messing around changing them all the time. I think it's fantastic. Thank you for watching. Please put any questions or comments in the section down below and subscribe for more videos like this.